What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of GT&H. How's everyone doing? So I'm gonna admit that I made a very big mistake the past couple episodes. I'm gonna admit to it because I'm that kind of person. If I make a mistake, I'm gonna own up to it. And it involves the slam. So I grossly overestimated how much power this thing is producing by like a huge factor. I'm so bad. So the too long didn't read of this. I estimated. So this thing is producing one E15 every time it burns, which is every 5 seconds. Hey, killer, by the way. So every 5 seconds, it's supposed to burn one E15. And after some math that's not quite the correct math, I was saying, oh, this is giving me 4 times 10 to the 15th EU per tick. That is nowhere near the right answer. So really, what I'm supposed to be doing, so think about it like this. 1 times 10 to the 15th, you're supposed to divide by 20 because that's per tick, right? And then you divide by 5 again because this is happening every 5 seconds. So we're actually getting way less than that. So basically the conversion that we should be doing is whatever that number is, divide by 100, which is 1 times 10 to the 13th power, which is 10 trillion, not 1 quadrillion, or not 4 quadrillion like I was guessing last time. So we're very off. Now, why is that a problem? It's a big problem because our power is going down ever so slightly. It is going down. So I think yesterday we had like 2.40 times 10 to the 20, and it's gone down like whatever that number is, 0.07 times 10 to the 20. So it's still like a very slow drop, but it's still a drop nonetheless. So we have to address it. And so one of the first things to help out with that was actually us trying to get more superconductor base UMV. So there's definitely some problems that I've noticed with our production. First of all, let me just talk about it. We did set up a couple of DTPFs to be full passive. For example, this guy is doing space-time. It's consistent, 50%. And then we go down the list. I'm flying too fast here. So this one's producing infinity. Also 50%. So this thing has been running nonstop. And then I can check a couple of the other ones. So this one is Hypogen, right? Yeah, Hypogen. Also 50%, running just fine. I'm getting a lot of frame drops for some reason. I think it's this. Every time I load the Godforge, it drops my frames for a couple seconds. But you'll notice that there's some problems. Neutronium, I think, is also 50%, running just fine. I'm kind of curious, though, if I have the molten iron to support it, or if I need to. I may have to increase it, because I don't remember what that value was last time. So I may have to speed that up, but that's still a long ways away. But you see there, that's one of the problems, is quantum. It shut off. And it's because of Hypogen. So it seems that like Hypogen is one of the problems, and I know we bookmarked it yesterday. Hypogen and space-time is a problem because space-time is for superconductor. So you'll see here that the biggest problem is both space-time and Hypogen. Hey, ESO. Yeah, we got a lot of waiting to do. It still runs whenever it gets the fluids, so we still have like a big backlog. It's pretty good, but I want it to be 100% passive because it helps with the catalyst saving. Molten glass is, I think, also pretty good, 50%, yeah. Not molten glass, it's chromatic glass, or 24 billion of that stuff. I think this was the other problem. So this one is making the quantum anomalies, right? And the bottleneck is gravitons. And that's just a matter of spamming more power in the quantum force transformer. That means the factory must grow time to 10x everything you have made. Most average GTNH watcher comment. That's kind of the whole point. And so before I upgrade the power, actually, yeah, this is what I was thinking. So for sure, the two big bottlenecks, I don't really care about quantum anomalies because we don't use them as much. And I do have a lot of them, I think. Yeah, that's a good amount. But space-time, hypogen are the big problems. There's two ways to go around this. Technically, 4 ways, actually. One way, just give this more power. That's one of the ways. Method 2, double it. So this is now automated to also be doing space-time. I did this off camera. It's also 50%, so it's actually running. And I think this one is also doing hypogen. Yeah, this one's doing passive hypogen. So we have 2 hypogen, 2 space-time. It's still not enough. Method 3, more DTPFs. I don't know if I want to do that. I honestly might just end up doing that. It's not that expensive anymore because really the main expense is space-time for those coils. And then method 4 is figuring out if I can use alignment. So this is kind of what I wanted to do. I crafted 2 of these, one for hypogen, one for space-time. I don't know if I'm actually going to use them because I know we talked about it before where they're kind of like a scam if we can't support the catalyst, the exotic catalyst cost. But I think we should be fine because I think that was before Godforge was introduced, I think. And now that Godforge is a thing, we can do the one-step plasmas a little easier. So maybe this is going to help us out. It's a lot of power still, which brings you back to the antimatter. We have to address antimatter first. Hello, Demonic, by the way. Yeah, it's getting pretty pricey. Everything's expensive. It's just time cost. And also, before I forget, off camera, I did get the field generator, this one. So I worked up to tier 6. And the next Eye of Harmony upgrade is asking for tier 7. So this wasn't too bad. It was just crafting one of each. You know, just one to research it and so on. But this next one is going to be 48 of them. And that gets pretty expensive because each one needs like the space-time compression and time dilation. So it gets pretty expensive. So that's an off-camera project, of course, but I'll bookmark it just so I don't forget about it. So right now, I'm pretty confident we should be able to just use superconductor UMV right away. And before I do that, let's take a look at the wiki. Not the wiki, sorry, the spreadsheet, so I know more or less how to plan for the amount of power this thing is going to produce. Okay. So this is also kind of where I figured out, like, wait, my math is kind of wrong. So I set this to copper. So this is the configuration we have right now, using molten copper and all of this stuff for the SAS. And then I could see here, wait, net average is only like 8 trillion EU per tick. And that didn't sit right with me because I was estimating a lot more. But no, it's because my math was wrong. So yeah, we don't want to do this. Let me see here. So what I want to do is just set this to superconductor base UMV and see if anything else changes. So this is where I'm a little weirded out because actually, no, never mind. So if we're going to optimize for EU per activation, which is this one, and then we might be able to do that, but like it changes a whole bunch of values, so never mind. I think this is the new values we want to use. So we want to set it to be 255 liters per second. So the per hatch value is 18.5. So I'm just going to do that right now. So the way to change that, I just have to tell this. Oh no, it's a mess. I forgot. I think it's this one. Yeah. So I was saying we want it to be 18.5 because if I go back to the screen, if I set it for copper, 13 buckets, that's what this number is, 13 buckets, right? And if I set it to this one, it changes it to 18.5. I don't really know why it's different if I'm just giving it the same amount of power, but I'm not gonna question it. So 18.5 is what I want. So I can just do 18.5, just like that. And that should be good. So contained antimatter should be, one more time, just looking at this, it's about 296,000, right? And if you do the quick maths, this number right here, plus whatever this is, or minus whatever this is going to be 296,000. And that looks right. But this man is also going to be consuming a hell of a lot of power, which is what we were aware of already. And I think I already accounted for that over here. So how much power is this thing pushing? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that 35? That's 3.5 times 10 to the 13th. So how much power is this? It's whatever this is plus the passive consumption. So I think we're still fine. So we have room to grow. Okay, but that's going to be producing us our antimatter. And based on the spreadsheet again, it's about 255 per second. I'm going to round down to 250. So that's the number I want to keep in mind. 250. And so I just have to configure this one to be consuming about 250 times 5 every 5 seconds, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit more configuration, but what I'm going to do is pause it for a little bit. Actually, one more thing. Sorry, I'm like switching screens so often. There's a bunch of things to keep in mind. So with this setup here, I can get away with using the 64 amp UAV because it's only going to take up 420,000 amps, and we have 1 million amps with the 64 hatches we have. In other words, I should be able to set this to wireless because our total buffer is 5.4 times 10 to the 16th. At least I think that's how it works. So let me pause that for a little bit. Oh yeah, disable machine. Actually, you know what? That's what the emergency lever is for. There we go. ATM 9 Sky not going super well. Why? What's up? Let's do some configuration here. This one is going to be a little strange. For example, the first thing we have to do, pull this out because we now want superconductor base. And I'm going to store 10 million into here. Probably maybe want more, but right now we have 107, so 10 million is going to be fine. This should last us for a while. And we're already getting antimatter from a storage bus over here. And there's already logic in place where if it's less than 1 million, it's this signal right here, then it's going to turn this on and shut off the whole machine. But I also have to do the same for this one. So if it's less than 1 million, superconductor base, it's going to shut off the machine. You take a break from modded Minecraft to play more modded Minecraft. That's how it is, though. I can't blame you. That's how I am. I also have to tell the dual interface to get the copper out of there. I don't know. Is there a way for me to pull copper out of here? I don't actually know. I keep forgetting to turn off that command. I'm sorry. The old textures have grown on me for sure. I used to be so against playing like the old textures, especially for like vanilla Gregtech. But I've gotten used to it. I don't know if there's a good way for me to take the copper fluid out of there without like a conduit or something. So here's a extract filter. Does it work with a bucket like that? That's an item conduit. It just works, okay. I'm just curious if it works like that, if I can get this stuff out of there. Yeah, it works, okay. And then put superconductor base, there we go. And then I don't really care about this insignificant amount of molten copper. Okay, so now we have the fluid here. And then we also have it controlled with the level emitter. So if you run out of either fluid, it's going to shut this off. And I know I had a howler alarm here, but it makes it annoying because the lever, whenever I'm working on it, so I don't know, I just didn't want to deal with it. Okay. There's like logic I can do, of course. So what I need to configure is the drip check. This one checks if there's any fluid in the storage. So this one I'm going to delete it and then put superconductor UMV. So if there's any of either of these fluids in the quadruple hatch up there, then it's not going to try to push anymore. And that's what that does. And then it takes the fluid from the interface. I also learned that if you need a bigger buffer, you can actually use stock replenishers. And I checked this off camera. You can just straight up pull fluids from this. It's a tank, in other words. It's pretty nice. So I can actually connect the stock replenisher in place of the dual interface, and it's going to do the same thing. So this one I have to UMV superconductor. And then, so what was the number I said? 250, right? We're going to round down to 250. So quick maths times 5, because this is going to run every 5 seconds. So 1250 is what I want to push. Oh, oops. Oh, don't tell me I broke it. No, not yet. So 1250, which is 250. Like that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. 250. And there we go. And then let me clear this out because it's going to cause problems. Nothing in there. As long as there's nothing in there, it's going to be fine. And I think that's everything. I think that's all I needed to configure. Let me try it. So now this is producing 1.55 times 10 to the 15th every 5 seconds. So you divide by 100. In other words, just reduce this number by 2. So that's going to be 1.55 times 10 to the 13th, which is 15.5 trillion. EU would tick. Not too bad. Is that enough? No, it's not. I don't think it is, at least. But let me confirm if it's actually the right numbers here. So if I look up SLAM, I'm gonna do one of these things again to you guys. Let me see if I can show you. So the math here, antimatter, which we're giving it 1250 every cycle, to the power of 1.03, because we're using UMV superconductor. So to 1.03 is that number times 1E12 is this thick number, right? And then we hit this button. So it's 1.50, round up 1.55. So that does match. It works out. I know, right? Some of us have never seen a calculator before. Anyways, we're gonna turn on wireless mode because this is now UMV, so it should dump directly into here now. At least I think that's how it works. Hopefully, yeah. So it's still not quite that much power. We can get so much more power out of this, but it's like a combination of more of these guys and even configuring this a little more. For example, that number 250, E15 isn't enough. That isn't per tick. It's every 5 seconds. All right, I'm going to show you the math because I think you joined a couple seconds after I talked about it, which is okay. So this is the math in figuring out per E, or per tick. So we have 1.55 times 10 to the 15th, right? This is every 5 seconds, so divide by 5, and this gives us per second. So this is 3.1 times 10 to the 14th every second. And then you divide by 20 to convert to per tick. Yes, enter. It's 15.5, whatever. So, and then push this button. That gives us 1.55 E13. So you don't have to do this each time. All you really have to do is subtract this number, 15 minus 2. And that's your per tick value. It just works out like that. Thankfully, Balatro prepared me for it. Yeah, there's some huge numbers in there, right? So, and then it becomes kind of like a balancing thing. If I want to improve how much antimatter we produce or how much power we produce, I have to improve our antimatter production. And then it's kind of like a back and forth until we do that. So if I look at the SAS, I'm starting to understand how this works, I think is what I'm trying to go for. So really the next thing we can do, depleted NAC fuel mark 6. How atrocious is that though? It's this stuff over here. Steam Age soon, hopefully. I'm just trying to find, oh man. It's been a while since we did that. Astro Titanium. So it's not that far away to do, but again, I don't think we're producing it fast enough. So what about something like the Tachyon? What do you call it? The Tachyon rich stuff. Yeah, tachyon rich fluid. Kind of curious which one gives us the biggest multiplier. Let's take a look at tachyon rich. So right now, really the only way I can make it is... Yeah, don't worry about the walls of text. Too long didn't read. There's multiple fluids that you can give this thing. Depending on what fluid you give it, then you get more antimatter production. That's pretty much what it is. So tachyon rich, if you really think about it, it's not that expensive. So maybe this is what I want to do next. Now maintaining it is going to be a little tricky though. Because technically I can just like spam these two. But then again, it goes back to, oh wait, space-time is a problem again. I haven't heard some of the songs that Soul played. I know there was one with the background of like, it was raining and there was a flower. Is that the one that you're talking about? I've heard that one. That was a nice song. I haven't kept up with the other ones though. Let me take a drink. I also really don't play with music enabled. Okay, so it looks like the focus right now, we need to get hypogen and space-time working, especially space-time. So how bad is it if I just straight up give it this alignment matrix? How much a difference does it make? So this number is what we want to look at. Extra catalyst used per recipe is 0 liters. So let's do some... Let me do this real fast. So we're doing this recipe, right? And also this one doesn't really look at... Okay. I have to read this because sometimes some recipes don't have a catalyst cost, and you have to choose which one it is. Does allocating too much RAM cause weird screen glitches? Absolutely. It's like sleep. Too much or too little is a bad thing. You gotta get just the right number. Something, too much RAM to a game doesn't let like the other processes work correctly. That's as much as I know it though. I'm not a tech bro. Sorry. Okay, for recipes without a catalyst, you must specify the catalyst in the GUI by right-clicking the convergence button. Okay, so if I give this thing, catalyst here, is it 3? 4. 4 is for that. And you know what? I might even just be able to like turn it on whenever I feel like. So turn it on for like 5 seconds. Okay, it's way faster. It's way faster, but how much oh, it has a different design too. That's cool. You can actually see it. How much more catalyst though? It's 11,000. But if you think about it, it's actually just straight up 11,000. Which doesn't seem too bad. So maybe I'll just leave it on like this for a while. Build a base, that sounds cool. I wish I could say the same, but everything became a lawn base very quickly past like UVT or something like that. So if you look at this is doing 11,000 per second versus this one producing 460. So this is as much as like 11,000 divided by 400. Let me see that. Divided by 460. That's like 23 DTPFs worth, something like that. And only consuming 11,000. Is it 11,000 per run? $642. It's not per run. It's per. That's per craft. Oh, this thing consumes so much catalyst though. But is our space time building up? It's gonna say no for a while because we have a lot of backlog to bring up. Again with the hypogen as well. I'm trying to see here if this is like worth it to maintain, because if I look at my exotic over here, yeah, we can't produce it fast enough. Because it was at 1 billion at the start of the episode. I'm already down like 20 million or something. So I'm curious if there's a way for me to like disable this. It's so good though. But no, I can't afford it. I mean, I can probably just leave it in there and then I'll leave it in there. Or does it craft it for anything else? It is. Take it with me. Let me take a look at the hypogen to see if how much more this thing produces. So it looks like that number, 11,000. That's per actual craft amount, and then after the amount of parallel. So this thing was at like 70,000, right? I think it was 7. We can always just go back and check. So if I check here, 737 is what I'm looking at. So it's this much, right? So divide that number. This is times 128. Okay. So 128 times 11,183. It's 1.4 million per craft. So I would need to maintain 1.4 million every 6.4 seconds. That's not going to happen. The plasma mixer can't even do that. Yeah, it's a little tricky. So another, I think, I don't really know how to explain it, but maybe the trick with convergence is to not give it so much power. But yeah, it's kind of clear to see. Yeah, we can't support this, so I'm not going to do it. We're gonna have to go the old-fashioned way. We probably want more DTPFs. I am kind of curious about this, though. I want to see it. turn on. Oh, yeah. Absolutely demolish our catalyst storage. For example, if I look at this one is 33,000, but it also has it's crafting less parallels. So it's some parallel calculation for it to figure out how much it's going to consume. But either way, it's consuming a lot per craft. 729. Yeah, this one's about 500,000 or something like that. Okay. So that's not the way to go, because we can't support that like for a while. Because if I even want to make millions of catalysts, the plasma mixer needs to be upgraded like crazy, and that's going to be a power hog. So no thank you. At least not yet. So I was kind of thinking if there's like some kind of math we can figure out to see how much we're going to need to keep this running. But we are going to need a bunch of other stuff. So another fluid that I want to passive is Sherabon, which I think we're just going to leave level maintained for now. So maybe the trick is to just make everything space-time and hypogen until it stops complaining. I think that's what it's going to have to be. So I'm going to add more of those. Yeah. Because other than that, what is like a bottleneck that we have? Let me check over here, actually. Mm-hmm. That is working, right? I mean, we still have a while to go until we run out of power, but I may want to increase this. So again, let me go back to the spreadsheet one more time. So if I were to choose Tachyon Rich and spatially enlarged, how much power is this thing going to consume? So if you see here, it is -8 to the 12. So not that much more, actually. So maybe I do want to do this. It's going to be a little tricky, though. With containment, I can't really do much because that's MH, the Magneto, whatever. I'm not going to pronounce that. What about, I'm not going to mess with that either because that's also pretty expensive. Time-wise, I think. I say we try it just to see if we can make this reliably. The Tachyon Rich and the other stuff. Like, how fast do we actually make it if I try to make 1 million of you? It goes back to space-time. So I don't think I'm comfortable changing it until I get space-time going. So yeah, never mind. Okay. So I think what I want to do is maybe just keep adding space-time automations, space-time passives until it stops complaining. Until I have like a net positive somewhere. And that means here. having this filled up. So for now, I am going to use convergence. So we can still use convergence as a temporary boost when I'm online, but I have to remind myself to turn it off because we're going to drain through all their catalyst. So that'll just be a temporary boost to fill up all the other buffers. While I increase the number of space-time thingies we have. So I think I'm just going to put the rest of these as space-time. And you know what? I guess the other option is just to give it more power. Right? Nah, we want more passes. So set mode, copying, mark copy. Let me actually copy you up there. Transform, reset, right there, mark paste, like that. Should have enough to do several of these. So there's something I wanted to bring up, but I don't really remember. I think it has something to do with work, especially because it's like moving so quickly now. I'm gonna have to change a lot of like my my comfort zone. Things are gonna be kind of different for the next couple of days, weeks, months, right? I'm only saying that because I got more news that they may want me in Houston next week, which is just like 3 weeks sooner than I expected, 2 weeks sooner than I expected. So I'm like, wait, it's gonna be like that. So yeah, things are moving very fast. Dimensionally transcendent residue. So you don't actually need the exotic catalyst, but this one does if I'm going to use convergence for a little bit. Have it running for a couple seconds, right? Okay, you're going to pull and you need the hypervisor matrix, which I am crafting a couple extra. There you go. Okay, there's space-time. And then like another challenge, I guess, is can we produce enough of the what do you call it? Let me check this. Right now we're doing 2.9 thousand. Which is this one. Like, can we produce enough infinity and residue? For the most part, I think so, because we have a big buffer of each. So I'm going to guess that we can. Energized Tesseract might be a little funky. Are you level maintained? Not actually sure. Yes, you are. Okay. So is there a cheaper way to make Tesseracts? Because right now we're doing this recipe. And I know you could make an argument to passive it. It's very tempting, actually. But I'm going to hold off on that for now. Maybe if we can figure out a way to get more stellar catalyst, I should be able to change the recipe to be even more. What do you call it? Like, profitable, if that's even the right word to say it. but I think it's fine. Okay, anyways, I'm just going to continue with space-time. I'm just going to get this first, like, entire group of DTPFs to be space-time passiving. So it's one thing to just do the math for it. The other thing is just to spam until it stops complaining. And I think I'm just going to do that. In a waterside village in the heat of July. Never jamming out the Dream Theater again. We're too horrible sight. Okay, you. 10K. May want to produce a bunch of tesseracts here. There you go. Uh-oh, I broke the recipe. I've noticed that the texture breaks for these things sometimes. If you let it like cycle enough times, it actually the recipe just breaks. It's pretty funny. Molten tiramisu, I saw that. Don't think I didn't see that. Molten arcanite is like that. So it's maybe one of the things I what do you call it? QFT? Never mind, it's not that slow. It's not that slow, never mind. Okay. So that's another thing producing space-time, and then we have one more over here. I'm just going to put it over here. All right, so here's a hypervisor. Connect. Eight channels. I think by the end of it, every single DTPF is going to be passive. And there's a big chance I just want more. I can give him more power, but it's becoming a little ridiculous because it goes back to like, wait, I kind of need more to, I need to generate more power, right? Put that right there. And we put everything else back here. 10 million. 10 million. And 10K. Okay, so there's the other one. All right, we have 5 DTPFs running space-time passive. One of them on convergence just to get the buffers going. So as long as it's positive, that's what I want to see. So this one's just doing one recipe at a time, right? Yeah. Okay. So if the buffers are positive, or if the buffer is building up, no, it's still pulling everywhere. It's gonna leave it running for a while. How much exotic catalyst do I have? I mean, we built up 1 billion, so it's gonna run for a while. That's fine. Okay, if I want to deal with more power, I think at this point, I think the number did go up. So I think that little push is going to help out a lot. But I think what I want to do for these guys, one more time, back to the spreadsheet, wrong screen, is to optimize for SAS. And confirmed, we can't really support Tachyon Rich yet. So we're going back to Tangum and Spacetime. So this is assuming that we're able to supply a decent amount of depleted, which so far we are. I think we are. So I'm going to do this. So the number here we want to do is 39,300. So configure this to be pushing that much. So 39,300. So that's 39,300, like that. So if I check the spreadsheet, I'm not going to be switching the screens too often. Don't worry. Per SAS is 628,800. That looks about right. And the net gain, average gain is 386 liters per second. So we're going to round down to 380. In other words, 380 times 5 is 1900 over here. Double check, 1900, 1900. This is every 5 seconds, remember. Okay, how much power is that? 2.38. Remember, just subtract that number by 2. So 2.38 times 10 to the 13th, which is 23.8 trillion. I think that means we're power positive now. Because remember, for the DTPFs to be running nonstop, the most amount of power they're going to consume is 550 billion. Yeah, here we go. 550 billion times 16 is 8.8 times 10 to the 12, or 8.8 trillion. So if we're producing 20 trillion, we're power positive, I think. And there's really nothing else that's consuming that much power in the base. It's the DTPFs are the biggest power consumers. Aside from Eye of Harmony, but I don't think they're... I don't think it's like really a problem right now. I was not doing something. What are you doing? Are you just waiting for... No, you're just pushing more fluid. Okay. Yeah, I don't think this is really a problem, so I just leave it running. Even then, it's probably like in the 10 trillion or so. So maybe it's like half of whatever power we're consuming, which is still a lot, but I think we'll be fine. So yeah, for sure, we really want to stress that we want all of these fluids running nonstop. But really the biggest culprit is space-time. As far as I can tell. I guess hypogen as well. So I'm going to make the other ones hypogen. I need more hypervisors. And then we have this problem child that's a graviton, but I don't care about you. Do we really need that much chromatic glass? Chromatic glass was for something, right? for the base fuel, but was there a reason why I did this, or I just did this because I wanted it and I wanted it? Okay, so if it's not directly involved in any of the fluids, I guess in a way you can say that it is because of this, but you don't use that much of it to make it so. I think just to save on a little bit of power, I'm gonna shut this off. And then convert it to like another fluid. Also known as space-time. You give me the, you're gonna be space-time as well. We need space-time. So I don't know if someone who's like been into the late game stuff can help me with the question here. So apparently you can also make space-time with an Eye of Harmony. Only if the recipe fails. Somewhere here it says that. Yeah, space-time, it's on like the 5th line or something. If a recipe fails, success chance times that much. Space-time instead of fluid outputs. And output as much EU as a successful recipe. I don't know if that's really worth it. So I'm not gonna worry about that. Yeah, never mind. It doesn't seem like too much. Okay, never mind. I don't need you. I need you. You. Tesseract. All right. All right, so we have, what's that, 6 space-time runners? How's our space-time? I'm going to keep running it until our buffers catch up, and I mean this one. So this one, even though it's not 100% of the time, we still need quantum anomalies because it's a recursive craft. So, yeah, I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna change it. It's gonna stay like that. How much exotic do I have? I'm gonna run this for like the rest of the episode. Hopefully, I don't forget about it. Okay, for the other ones, the rest of them, I do want them to be hypogen. So I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I need as much hypogen. This one's running hypogen, right? Yeah, copy this one. Right there. We're gonna paste you right here, right there. I'm just gonna plug in the rest of them right now. Okay. We're gonna do queuing mode for these 3. Okay. And then for hypogen, we need a whole bunch of stuff, right? Doing this recipe here. Just fluids though. And the hypervisor matrix. Need another one. Okay, so you're going to have exotic, basically all the fluids that you would want. Quantum, neutronium. $10 million of each. Okay, and there we go. So this one's running, not Tesseract. Oh, it's because it was crafting something else. Sorry. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, this is the other hypervisor. I did not know they didn't stack. That's new. Two, three, four. It's a good thing neutronium is so free. It's literally just iron. All right, so there's another hypogen, and then the last one is also going to be hypogen. Right there. Okay, now we have 5 hypogen, 6 space-time, I think. Is that enough? No idea. But even if it's like not 100%, it's still like we could see here, it's probably still enough to like make sure this runs at a positive value, which is still okay. As long as the superconductor, that's really the main thing. If we can keep this thing open, we should be fine. Maybe even slow it down, which we can do by decreasing the amount of inputs it has for like maybe something like, I don't know, hypogen or even dragon blood. That's the expensive one. So I can tell this, hey, stock only 300, so it doesn't craft as much. We can also do that. Which on, well, no, because then it goes back to the problem of like, wait, exotic catalyst. We want this to be running nonstop for the biggest discount. I don't know. It's a tricky thing to think about. Because I feel like we're still a long ways from this running nonstop. Because keep in mind, we still have to fill up the buffers, plus all the hypogen we craft is just going to get dumped into here if it's not in storage already. Which is already what we were doing, so I guess that's not that much of a problem anyways. Never mind. Yeah, so I'm just going to do that. So what I can also do for these is if I'm making a big craft, I can enable these for the duration of that craft. In other words, like if I start a big craft for like a couple hours, I can just show up and like, oh yeah, just turn this on. And then it's going to process through things so much faster and then turn it off whenever it's done, right? I can always do that if I want to. That's a little bit of a manual process though. I'm going to turn this off now. That's because it's kind of chewing through all of my catalysts. I don't like that. Okay, I think we got this processing just fine. Hey, Antropod. What's going on? Take a drink. Okay. So we have fully committed to passiving all of our DTPFs. There's only two of them that I'm not like 100% sure. Like this one is doing superconductor, UMV, but we can't produce enough hypogen or space-time yet to get this running nonstop. This one also doesn't run nonstop because we don't have enough gravitons, or they don't produce fast enough from the QFT. But everything else, yeah, we've been running nonstop. So we have a bunch of space-time DTPFs. We have infinity, molten neutronium, and quantum. Quantum as well is kind of a problem though, because it's hypogen. Hypogen is the other problem. So we were talking about it earlier. There's multiple, there's 4 different options we can do to improve how fast we produce stuff in the DTPFs. The most obvious one, of course, is just to dump more power, which I'm not very confident I should do that, because we're already stretching our power pretty thin with what we have right now. The other option is more DTPFs, which is becoming very likely that I might just do. Third option is what was the third option? Did I say 3 or 4 options? I don't even remember anymore. Well, another option is alignment matrix, which we have confirmed that is eating too much catalyst. I can't do this. The amount of catalyst it consumes is so funny. But if I can get everything running catalyst, that'd be like the biggest improvement, because it doesn't really increase the power draw. It just increases how much catalyst it consumes. So now I got to ask you, Entropod, since you've been through this grind before. I looked at the power plot, running exotic on everything. So I looked at the power plot for everything, right? And it says that, how do I explain it? It's kind of tricky. Let me look at the plot again. There's a lot of wiki shenanigans that we're looking at. So it's like this one over here. So it seems at some point, yes, it's not a good idea to run it because it exponentially increases. So maybe we want to balance around the early parts, because it doesn't look like that much of an increase, right? So it seems like we were producing somewhere up here and just going crazy. But I don't really know how to figure out how many overclocks we're doing. Because maybe what we can do is meet in the middle. And that can be another option. Scanner. I did scan it, but it didn't really tell me overclocks, unless it does. It tells me extra catalyst use, but I don't know how to figure. Okay, for example, let me turn this on back to convergence. I really like how it looks. It looks so nice. So I know it uses 11,000, but that's per recipe, and the number of recipes we're doing is 128. So we're doing 128 recipes per craft. So the amount of catalysts we're consuming is 11,183 times 128 per craft. So that's that's over 1 million. That's too much catalyst. We can't do that. Is there another display for scanner? I'm not sure. I've never really thought about it. If you mean overclocks, I don't think so. Yeah, it's the same. So I don't know. I don't know if it's like um like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a challenge or a situation where I want to meet in the middle, right? Like reduce the amount of power this thing sees so that the catalyst consumption's not atrocious, but we still produce a lot of fluid. I guess one way to do that is like we can always just configure this number over here with a screwdriver. So the two main ones we need is hypogen and spacetime. These guys are hilariously slow. I have 6 DTPFs passively running spacetime, and it's still not enough. And each one is running 500 billion, 550 billion. So what if that's the strategy? I can just reduce the amount of power it sees. So that was the other question I had. That's the other method. Is it worth it to get spacetime from Eyes of Harmony? So you do get it in ridiculous amounts. Because I know you can get it, but is there a way to force it to always fail? Like I know you can always just set it to be powered because it doesn't need to like success chance, whatever. So if the recipe fails, you still get the power. Is there a way to guarantee it just fails so that I can farm spacetime out of it as well? Like how much does that produce? Because if that ends up being better than DTPFs, then I might as well just focus on that. That might be something I have to research. By the way, just a Eye of Harmony progress. Right now we're at I guess this is also why I'm running out of power, is because this thing is consuming a whole buttload of it. That makes sense. Wait, I do have one overclock on it, which is kind of too much, so I probably should reduce that at some point, but that's fine. I do need it to run. But right now we're at 671. 6.7. I said it. And so I'm working up towards number 7. I do have the version 6, so I just need to research that one. I'm going to keep it bookmarked. Research it, and then I'll build this one off camera, and then we have the 677. I think power DTPF fails consistently. What do you mean? Oh, you mean Eye of Harmony. Let me read this. I won't quote. So maybe that's what we wanted to do. At least try to focus on go back to Eye of Harmony, because I have not been paying attention to it for a while. Now, another thing, if we want to just improve how much catalyst this thing is consuming, again, we have to. I'm comfortable with like 2 million every 6.4 seconds, because if you do the math, this is equal to 180 recipes. No, 128, right? 128 recipes times 183 per recipe. So 1,431,000 catalyst every recipe. So if I can somehow do 2 million per second of catalyst, then I think we're fine. But doing that is also like not easy, because if I go to the mixer, and then here's another question: is the mixer perfect overclock? Because this one also is already consuming 10 trillion. That's a lot of power. And it's only doing 1 million every 5 seconds. So it does not do overclock. So is it worth it to make 1 million of these guys? Or is it the same amount of power to get the same amount of parallels? It has parallels. I guess what I'm trying to say, if I want to produce more, how to explain it? So is the challenge with this thing just to increase parallels, or is there a reason for me to make more than one? Should I make more than one of these? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask, if I want to make it faster. Probably not doing 10 trillion though. So I guess overclock isn't the right word. So it just so I'm not wasting more power if I do more parallels is what I'm trying to ask. Right. You're not getting any kind of discount, I guess. Either way, if I increase the number of parallels, the amount of power this thing is consuming is so funny. It's consuming half of our total base production right now. A little less than half, but that's crazy. And it's not even close to being able to support the DTPF with full catalyst. So no. There's a limit in the bus capacity. Okay. It's a pretty interesting dilemma we have. Because if I need to do more, at least seems like the cheapest option is just to make more DTPFs. But do I really want to do that? Do I even have the space for it? I mean, it's not really a problem, really, because it honestly isn't that expensive. Plus, I did future-proof it by putting the capacitor banks right here. So maybe that is the the strategy. Just make more DTPFs. They're also giving it more power, but again, we go back to that. Wait, I don't have enough power to give it. Pretty interesting dilemma. Is this running convergence? I already forgot. Okay. I mean, I leave the convergence there. If I ever have to do expensive recipes, I could just turn it on. And it just chugs through whatever recipe I have. But I do have them on these two. So if there's any recipe that uses it, I can just allow convergence for like a couple seconds and it chews through everything. Even a molten infinity, it does so much of it. Yeah. I think you guys heard my work phone make a noise. Okay, it seems like I do need to just I think the next step is IF Harmony. Like, I mean, it's already something we've been doing for a while, but if I want to speed up DTPF, it's either doubling it, which I probably will. You know what? That's just planned for it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it, and you can't stop me. It also just gives us more what do you call it? It does not like it when I do that. It gives us more space to passive more stuff. Oh, it hates it. Hang on. Let me get the cube it over here. Right there. I'm not trying to mark pace. What are you doing? Thing is huge though. Yeah, I'm curious what you did about it. You were also running 2.7, weren't you? So things might have been a little different. I don't know how much though. If I were to plan this, how atrocious is it? We can do it. It actually doesn't even look that bad. What's the worst step? Like, worst thing about it? Space-time. It's really the only problem, I think. There's a superfluid as well. I mean, we can do it. It's not gonna craft right now, though. No way. But I would love for it to. I feel like this could finish overnight because it doesn't seem like we need too much of anything really. It doesn't even look that bad. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But for sure, we need the Eye of Harmony going. So, did you finish your recipe or what? I think it did. Yeah, I've convinced myself I'm just going to make more DTPFs because I need to. Where am I gonna put it? It's a very good question. Let me do a mark paste. I started copying over there, right? Oh, it hates it. So I want it to be right there. But no, I can probably just put it like that, honestly. But then it's like the problem, is it too tall? 256 is my limit. Yo, I can do this. I can have a whole square. I need to do it for the memes. That's going to be 32 DTPFs. Because these guys just don't run very fast. No, it's going to cause problems right here, actually. The laser. So I think what I can do is just build it like one block up so that it doesn't interfere with the laser hatch right here. But it totally will fit. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is just like build it up once and we have space. So we totally have space for another layer up. 32 DTPFs. Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I can see the craft right now. And yeah, with matter manipulator. Imagine if I didn't have it. Hell no. Like it's reasonable. I usually assume anything under 1 billion bytes is not that expensive. That's what I usually assume. It takes a while to craft, but like the actual like resource costs, we can afford it. Obviously, because it's a start, but it is going to take a while to craft. So that's an overnight project. This thing's going to eat through 26 billion molten iron. That's so funny. I don't even know if I'm producing it fast enough anymore. Rest in peace, all of my space time that I worked so hard to build up. Rest in peace, 43 million UMV superconductor, but that's why I did that. Okay, so yeah, we're going to plan for that. Other than that, it still is working on Eye of Harmony. So I'm trying to see. Let's go back to the wiki one more time. Try to focus on that. I'm pretty sure we're just gonna wrap up the episode here because it's just a real big waiting game. Hey, Extreme, you came at a good time because I was contemplating ending the episode because there's not much for me to do. But I'm gonna talk about a little bit of where I'm at right now. So I have this tier 7. What's it called? Stabilization field. This one. I have the tier 6. I have to research it, and then I can get the 7. This one I'm pretty confident I'll finish overnight. So at this point, I should build up enough star matter to make like a bunch of the tier 7s, right? Anything 8. Okay, so I'm gonna okay. Okay, it's gonna be pretty pricey then. Still only 17 minutes to produce some star matter. It's not too bad. Okay. All right. Anyways, so Extreme, this is the current place I'm at right now. So really the main bottlenecks we have passively producing is hypogen and space-time. I ended up just setting up the rest of the DTPFs to be either hypogen or space-time. So right now we have 6 space-time DTPFs and 5 hypogen DTPFs. We can support their production just fine. Infinity might be a problem. We just have a huge buffer. So no, it's not really going to do that. I don't know. I have to look at Infinity because I don't know if the buffer can support it if we're crafting it fast enough. Imagine crafting 73 tier now. Expensive as all heck. I don't have recipes for that stuff, so I can't show you. But this is my question. So we talked about like multiple ways to make more space time. One of the ways is just to give more power to the DTPFs. I'm not sure if I want to do that because they're already running 500 billion. Another option is to like make more DTPFs, which is more than likely what I'm going to end up doing, and doubling it. Another option is the matrix, which I did craft it, but I've learned the hard way that the amount of catalyst this is consuming is so funny. So after a little bit of math, this is consuming like 1.4 million exotic every 6.4 seconds if I have it on convergence. I'm gonna leave it here only if like I'm running expensive recipes, because we might as well take advantage of this big buffer that I have. I have a billion buffer. So if I'm running big, thick recipes, I can turn on like both of these for like a little bit. So they're still going to be useful. I only have 2. But for passive, no, I can't afford it. It's way too expensive. And then for me to like in 2 hours use a billion catalysts in this. Yeah, so it's only going to be when I'm crafting something expensive and I'm babysitting it. But there's a big chance I'm going to forget to turn it off, and then I log in and I have no catalyst left. There's a big possibility that's going to happen. Anyways, the fourth option, which Anthropod brought up, is using Eye of Harmony to produce space-time. So maybe I do just want to get the space-time or the Eye of Harmony going as soon as possible. Which we're kind of waiting on that. And the tier 7 next. I don't know. It's pretty interesting because it's definitely just a waiting game. The DTPF is the biggest bottleneck. You have one making hypogen and one making infinity with matrix. How much power are you giving it? Because that was the other thing. Maybe there's like a There's like a min max you can do to give it less power. We're giving it the same amount of power. So how are you maintaining that much catalyst? That's how much power I'm giving mine. It's stellar catalyst. That's the other option. Because it uses so much less stellar. It's about half as much, and then, okay. Maybe I'll revisit the matrix, having constant matrix running when we can nonstop supply the stellar catalyst, because that's just that Eye of Harmony, right? Let me check here. So what if that's what I want to do? Best raw stellar plasma 999 with tier 0 overworld plus AA spam. I mean, it's also not even a problem. It's just like the amount of time it takes to craft this stuff. So really, the only reason I'm focusing, like I'm stressing on passive space-time and hypogen is because it's like being consumed for things like superconductor. But again, this is already running pretty fast. We have so much of it already, 123 million. So maybe it's not even that much of a stress. The most efficient way to optimize DTPF production is to optimize catalyst consumption. So yeah, you can totally like do the math and like reduce how much power it consumes so it doesn't use as much catalyst, because that plot on the wiki is saying that at some point it gets exponential. It is exponential, so you can probably consume less power so it does less overclocks and uses less catalysts, but it's still better. Like it uses enough catalyst to be reasonable, and it's still better than a base DTPF. Pretty interesting, actually. Yeah, and it seems like the easiest solution is just double the DTPF. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Do it. Do it. Stop complaining about it. Just craft it. Craft me the DTPFs. It's gonna keep complaining about a bunch of random stuff. It is pretty cheap. I was looking at the cost of it. It's not really that expensive. The biggest bottleneck, of course, is the DTPF processing, which I can just like, you know, turn that on for a couple seconds. This one too. So that should help out with the crafting, and I think I'm gonna do that from now on, while I have access to these guys. I just have to make sure I don't forget. So I mean, I am going to like leave the game on for a little bit and then turn off convergence, and I could just stare at this pretty colors, and it's gonna remind me, wait, this is convergence. I should probably turn it off. So yeah, I'm just gonna double the DTPS for now. That's my first solution. Just do that. And then whenever that finishes crafting, look into the Eye of Harmony next. Get this one upgraded. Man, it's so expensive with the convergence, yeah. Yeah, this thing has to go through so much catalyst. So I'm gonna leave this running on convergence for a little bit, and then I'll just turn it off, and this should finish overnight. And then also make a recipe for these guys, which reminds me, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the research station before I forget. And there we go. So that means we have our 677. Whenever this finishes crafting, we'll go ahead and set up the recipe for it as well. No, not that. This one. It really is just a waiting lobby. Because oops. It's like technically I have everything. It's just it takes so long to process. Have you? I did, and I'm so like nervous about it. I looked at it. Isn't it just the Eye of Harmony itself? It's a 999 Eye of Harmony just for one of these. So you're really just cramming one inside another one. Which is so funny to me. Because if you look at that, it's literally how expensive an Eye of Harmony is. That's so funny. You need 73 for optimal way to finish gate, but like I'm not an optimal player. We all know this. So I'm gonna build one, take it or leave it. I'm joking. Okay. So if I try to craft, it's 48, 49 with the extra one for research. Oh, I need to make this. Oh no, this is gonna be expensive. I haven't made this one yet. Oops. I have the research for it then, right? Or did I craft it to make the other one? I think oh no. Yeah, I crafted it. I crafted one that like the spare one that I had to make the stabilization thing. Okay, so I have to make another one. I'm gonna make one for research. Which I can't because it's too much data. So I'm gonna wait for the DTPF to finish up. Hello, random European viewer. You're not the only random European viewer over here. I'm basically ready to just end the episode because there's not much to do that I can think about right now other than just stare at the... Unless you guys want me to stare at the DTPF for an entire like 8 hours. That's probably how long it's going to take to finish. The man's expensive. It really is. But honestly, I'm not like too salty about it. By the way, Extreme, I don't know if I showed you, but I did set up the superconductor base for the slam here. And now this man is producing 2.38 times 10 to the 13th. Are you progressing Godforge? Honestly, I forgot about it. Let's talk about it a little bit. 8-hour DTBF ASMR. Hang on. You asked for it, right? Oh, yeah. Sorry, it's very loud. I just woke up some of the dudes that were watching my stuff to go to sleep. Sorry. Should probably just do that as joke content if you can bear having the PC record that long. A DTPF sleep stream when? No, I can't do that because Convergence is gonna chew through my catalyst here. Like we already consumed like 100 million in this episode just from the Convergence. Yeah, it chews through it so fast. But Yeah, to your question, Extreme, no, I have not paid attention to Godforge. Right now, I'm over here. I'm not that far. Which reminds me, maybe I should upgrade it. Um, I need the Graviton shards at some point, right? So I should upgrade it. And it's also going to really help me with catalyst crafting if I upgrade, like fully upgrade this thing. So maybe I should focus on it, right? It locks UXV behind full Godforge upgrade. Okay. Tell you what, I'm gonna... This doesn't seem as expensive. I'm probably gonna get a lot of UMV field like components out of the DTPF doubling. So let me start this recipe off camera. Let me just do it right now, actually. I haven't done a spray can recipe in a while. Actually, I haven't done a spray can recipe in a while, all right? What was I doing? What is it called? The next upgrade. It's this one, right? Yeah, this one. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a spray can craft. I've always wondered about that too, because mag matter, it doesn't really say how to get it. Oh, it totally does. Never mind. Who am I talking about? Okay, so we should upgrade the Godforge. Got you. Can I just straight up craft this right now? No, I can't. It's expensive, but I can set up recipes still. Mass Machine 4. Mega Ultimate Battery. I gotta research. Tell you what, I'm gonna cancel this. Never a good idea to cancel a thick craft because it's about to destroy my storage. You need 46 whatever. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna make a recipe for it. Just watch this. Right there. I didn't miss that. Don't worry. That's it, right? Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna add a bunch of things to the spray can. Oops. Because I forgot that this was something that we were doing for a while. Like if I wanted something expensive, to just go ahead and do it. And so this is going to be for the Godforge upgrade, right? Oh yeah, we have a new emote. And I'm also going to add the plan right here for a double DTPF. And then for this, I need 48 of you. 49, so I could research it later. And then I also need the previous tier of this one. So I can research this one because I haven't crafted it yet. This is going to be hilariously expensive. Like so expensive. Oh, it's thinking so hard, but it's actually possible. Here we go. Here we go. Renaming montage. Easy to search. 1. That's a 13. No. Oops. But yes, it's a chicken. I hate when it does that because it renames a random one. I was like, I didn't tell you to rename that one. You gotta have to watch out for it. 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. I think that's it, right? Was it only 3? Yeah, okay. Then double dragon blood plate. Do that. Bok, 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 bok. Chickens are so cool. And it's funnier because like they're just straight up dinosaurs. Not a lot of people think about that. Fluid solidifier rod. Okay. They really are vicious. No, don't make me research. Oh no. I can craft this right now, I think. Yeah. Man, the amount of catalyst this thing it consumes is so crazy. Chill. That's so funny. Anyways, if I want to craft these, easy to search 6 is not too bad. I can just do that. This one. Rename 6. Damn, fluid cell block. You may have to research you as well. My grandma had a bunch of peacocks at her house for whatever reason. They were so cool animals. This one is you. I don't think I craft that yet right now. I guess we found something to do in the little short time we have left. Why you're stuck? This guy's stuck a little bit. I mean, I think I'm not a biologist or anything. I think they're literally dinosaurs, not just descendants. They are actually are the theropods. That's my understanding, though. Like they belong to the same group. I don't know. And I can tell you right now that I'm an expert because I watch Tier Zoo. I've been watching a lot of Tier Zoo videos, so I'm an expert in animal classification, I'm just saying. You're running UEV? You're so cringe. No, you're getting upgraded to UMV wireless. That's why I made like 1,000,000 of these. Is this where I make another matter manipulator? So I can have this one copy paste. I know you told me. Someone told me about that. Just make another matter manipulator. You know, nah, that's fine. It's not even that much of a problem. I'm just gonna do this real fast. Need to replace all of these hatches with UMV. I should have enough. It's funny to say we've been eating dinosaur meat. It's true. It's really interesting. Oh, they're different. So I'm going to delete whatever's going on inside them. See if I care. Yeah, I don't care. I need them to be upgraded. It'll make up for lost time whenever it actually gets running. Yeah, we can produce so much more here. That does mean I have to reset recipes though. Yeah, it's just a inside joke to anybody who's not aware, because she added the emote to Discord, but I got confused by the name she gave it because it's supposed to be chicken eyes, but I literally read it as chicken yes. So now it's just it's part of the lore, and now it became an emote on the Twitch stream, and it's called chicken yes, but it's really supposed to be called chicken eyes. Yes. See, you know. Okay, which recipe broke? It's probably you. I'm gonna cancel you just in case. I don't even know what broke. Or maybe it was just overproducing stuff. Oh, you know what? It was from that something else. I don't know. Alright, we've upgraded the mixers. How many UMV wireless did I consume? It was about 100. Not too bad. Technically it's 8 times 16, which is 128. Okay. Wire mill acting a fool? What's wrong with you? Oh, they're all running. Oh no, it's superconductor base wire. Hurry up. You guys are not nearly running enough power either. You're UMV, but can I even fit 8 of them on here? How much is in there? Space-time ingot. It's you. I'm just gonna take this off for now. Should be fine to do everything else, yeah. Like, it's fine for an overnight craft. It's not the bottleneck. DTPF is still the problem child, right? Alright, what's wrong? I'm gonna cancel everything here. So you're stuck somewhere, and I have no idea where. It's probably the compressor. What's going on here? Hurry up. Sir, you have black hole enabled? Oh, it's eternal singularity. How much are you making? Yeah, you're not making that anymore. Get out of there. I'm trying to temporarily craft something. That's funny. Definitely needed. I know. First of all, before I give it a dedicated eternal black hole, I need to fix my automation, but I'm like putting that off as far as back as I can. And just watch, I'm gonna beat the pack with just this scuffed black hole, and I'm gonna flex on them forever. You can't stop it. Block of silicon solar grade is cringe, and I might be able to fluid solidify now. Yeah, I'm probably at the point of the pack where I'm just gonna be using just go ahead and follow the OC scripts just to save on like 5 seconds of time, because at this point it's just like running automation, right? Yeah, I'm gonna upgrade the recipe for block of silicon. We're not gonna use black hole for that one, and I guess glowstone as well. Where's the glowstone? Yeah, right here. Because we have a fluid solidifier block now. We can just use that instead. Should be way more efficient now. So silicon solar grade, I'm not even making it, but I think I'm making the dust. We have 1.9 billion of it. Okay. Yeah, we're not making the fluid, so I'm just going to do one of these right here. Is it melting core 11? 11, yeah. Where are you making molten glowstone from? So if you didn't know about it, you can put glowstone in a fluid extractor. I honestly don't know. Yeah, fluid extractor. I was only saying that to sound rude. If you wanted to know where I'm getting 54 billion glowstone from, I did follow your advice. I don't know if I showed you, but I have 2, 3 EEC. Yeah. I have one for Blaze. I got 2 glowstone nerds here giving me as much glowstone, more glowstone I know what to do with. It's so powerful. 1 amp of UMV as well, and now I have 54 billion. Don't know what to do with it. The main reason was for Cenarium, actually, because we actually ran out of Cenarium one time. We had a Cenarium moment. There's a whole episode about it, but now I'm making Cenarium out of it. Yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't think it'd be that strong, honestly. BioWare processors, you can also get upgraded. Watch this. No, you can't. Never mind. But what I will do is upgrade everything else right here. Whatever I can. How much is in here? I don't know, but there's it's crafting right now, right? Yeah, 32,000. I'm gonna do that. Replace UIV. This one's already UMV. Everything else is UIV, right? I'm about to destroy those. Yeah, do it. There shouldn't be too many of them. It's basically everything on this top row. Power switch. Okay. Yeah, it's everything that has disabled on it, I think. Anything down here? Do you know how much you had by the end of your pack or your playthrough? There. Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm mostly just trying to get all the research in, like, right now, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, no power fails means I have completed my... Oh, no. Get over here. Meant to put you in the backpack. Okay. Try again. Pretty sure I deleted a whole bunch of stuff. You're waiting on DTPF. Of course you are. I can just turn on convergence for 5 seconds, but I'll do that right now. So crafting one of you. I should also try to craft one of you. We're already over time, but I'm gonna chill for a little bit longer to get this going. At least want to set up the recipe for this before I call it a night. So this is a vacuum freezer right now. And then I can do the research off camera. It shouldn't take too long. At double, we're going to do this method that we did last time where I add a plate and then double the input and double the output. So that it uses both of these and as little transcendent metal as possible. That's the whole reason. And then chemical bath right there. 4.7 trillion glowstones. Jeez. Most average glowstone amount of an endgame player, right? That's crazy. Crayon and melon. Yeah, I always think of melon as like smelly whenever I read it. And crayon. I just want to make sure that I can actually craft the thing. Yes, I can. Okay. Okay. So if I try to craft the spray can represents double DTPF. It represents the next tier of Eye of Harmony, which is tier 7 stabilization casings. It also represents the next Godforge upgrade. And it's just expensive. So if I can craft it, I'm just going to leave it running all night. And I can. But before I actually start the recipe, I'm going to wait for this to finish up so I can get the research going. Because it just needs to actually process the research. So I just needed these 2 items, and then I can research stuff, and then pretty much it. I also need the ultimate battery, right? This guy. Yeah, I need to research you, so I'm going to try to craft this as well. No, you're thick. Cancel you. Craft this guy next. Need to research you. And then craft this. And there we go. Okay. And then I'm going to turn on convergence for one of them for a little bit while I wait for this. I think I'm going to turn on just one at a time because I feel like if I turn on 2, it's a little bit too much maintenance for me to deal with. And I might forget one. So I'm going to do one at a time. This is what your AE2 looks like in numbers.
Turn on 3.
I would love to, but I don't have a third matrix. I'm also out of water. So I'm going to hit you with, I'll take a lot of water whenever I what do I call it? Whenever I pause the episode. Geez, you have a lot of stuff. And you know what? I'm going to show people what it looks like. Don't worry about newest and most fire. I don't know what that means. That second one is weird. Jeez, you're in the 309 trillion. What is that? Just stone dust? Extreme, why do you have it on craft? Explain. Why is stone dust on craft? Oh, that's really funny. Oh, okay, you have more pictures, okay. How the heck do you have, what is 4.5 penta? That's the water cell, the infinite water cell. How do you have more on something else? I'm assuming that's distilled water. Jeez. Yeah, I'm way behind. Okay, so it sounds like Eye of Harmony is where you want. It's macerator recipe from cobblestone, so that's like an old recipe. So someone followed. I'm over here mocking you, and I probably have stone dust on craft also. No, I don't. I have skystone dust on craft. Yeah, never mind. I'm not messing with that. Okay, I think this is where we wrap it up for tonight. It's just a waiting game. So I'm gonna research these 3 items, if I remember, hopefully, and then craft the spray can, which represents a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, research this stuff and then craft the black spray can, and we'll come back tomorrow. Hopefully everything finishes, or my base doesn't run out of power. Very likely. Actually, no. We're doing pretty good. Yeah. Anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here for tonight. Pretty chill episode, I think. A lot of waiting around, but we did find something to do, right? It really is a waiting game, so I'm going to try to find more projects to do. And honestly, maybe it's time to start looking at more quests. We have so many quests. You know what? Let me go back to the screen. We have a bunch of quests kind of hanging out that maybe it's time to do that whenever we're idle. Because I do want to do all the entire quest book, right? Oh no, the entire the polybenzimidazole line. Yeah, I haven't done it. It's funny. No, I'm not even look at this. More GTPFs equals less waiting. Yeah, okay, fine. You convinced me. What the heck? Guys, my screen broke. I've seen this happen before. I don't know how to fix it. Guys, my screen broke. Hello? Help? I can't get out of the screen. Bug, press T on any item nearby. There's antimatter near me, I think. No? T for machine search, so maybe the slam. Yeah, I don't think it's working. Stock replenisher is near me too. Qubit, does the floor work? This is the second time I've seen this happen before. Interesting. Well, nothing like a quick Alt F4 can't fix, right? Goodbye. Anyways, that's probably like the perfect time to wrap up for this episode. Ali, I did see your hydration check, and I'm gonna hit you with I'm gonna chuck a whole can, like a whole bottle of 7-Up Zero that's in my fridge, just for that hydration check. Thank you. I will start up the pack again because I need to turn off convergence. Anyways, for now, I'll see you guys on the next. It's been a while since I had 7-Up. I just felt like it. It's 0 sugar, by the way. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Very likely, if there's not much else to do, we're gonna start working on quests to kill the time. I think that's what everyone wants to do. We'll start looking like at a refresher, an adventure of what we did throughout the entire pack. It's gonna be like a nostalgia trip, right? Looking at all the old quests. Here we go. Anyways, for now, have a good night. Thank you for your time and support as always, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.